Good morning, Digit fam. Funny thing, MWC in Barcelona isn't over yet, but judging by the tweets coming across my feed, it's pretty much over. Trade shows are weird, folks, but for now, it is February 27th, 2019, and this is your Digit Daily. There's a new sheriff in town, which is how our newsletter puts it. The new gold star-wearing task force comes from the FTC's Bureau of Competition, and it should be a little scary for the Facebooks and the Googles of the world. This task force will focus on antitrust behavior in the tech industry, making sure that all the good little tech startups out there have an equal shot at success, even though they probably don't. This 17-person task force will take in the entire tech industry and conduct investigations into whether or not any of these companies are behaving in a not-so-play-nice manner. Specifically, the task force will look at mergers, both past and present, and we're looking at you, Facebook and Instagram. I mean, the task force was asked about Facebook and Instagram, and they declined to comment, but they're totally going to look into Facebook and Instagram. FTC Chairman Joe Simmons called for the task force after a series of hearings on antitrust enforcement and after seeing how utterly clueless our representatives and senators were at figuring this stuff out. Okay, so I added that second part, but come on, you watched the hearings. Mr. Cook, when I take a photo of clouds and it goes into the cloud, does God get angry? The task force will weigh in on all mergers and acquisitions and has many tools at its disposal to correct things that might have gone wrong, up to and including forcing breakups and spin-offs of technology companies. And the writing has been on the wall for quite some time. It's not a coincidence that Facebook recently started integrating Instagram and WhatsApp into Facebook Messenger. It's hard to break up a company when you don't have companies. You just have services. So if the FTC is insisting on spinning off WhatsApp from Facebook, for example, Mark Zuckerberg could argue that, sorry bro, WhatsApp uses the same infrastructure as Messenger. It's just a different service. And this started happening a month ago, by the way. But ultimately, what this could mean for Facebook, Amazon, Google, and Apple is unknown. Wired points out that the FTC typically doesn't want to wield the power that it's supposed to wield. The last breakup of a tech company was Microsoft in 2001. Not exactly a history of wielding power, which in some ways is good, but in other ways, you ended up with a task force. But what will be the most important thing here is that the task force is comprised of people that understand technology. This can't be filled by buddies of the White House, and before you raise your pitchforks, that's a general politics statement, not one aimed at this particular White House. The fact is that when it comes to political appointments like this, regardless of who does the appointing, what you know tends to take a back seat to who you know. Actually, I'm not even sure what you know is in the same car. Or in a car at all. It might have been left behind at the restaurant stuck with a check. At the end of the day, whether or not this is a good thing or it actually solves any problems remains to be seen. But what also remains to be seen is all the news that we have in our roundup! Now that MWC is over, except it's totally not, Android Authority has a roundup of all the phones that we saw at the event, including the Galaxy S10, the Nokia 9, the Sony Xperia 1, and the BlackBerry Key 2, and unfortunately that's as sequential as they all get. Seriously though, it was a great show with a boatload of new phones, and I personally can't wait for the reviews to start dropping. Google Docs will now help you solve one of the most perilous and dangerous issues facing man today. There, and there. Not to get all grammar Nazi on you, but it's not that hard, people. But apparently Google has given up waiting for you all to get off your butts and actually learn the difference, because the difference is huge between these three words. I mean, it's not like you'd want to say kiss and accidentally type potato. That's how different these words are. There is no reason why they're all using the wrong version of there. See? It's not that hard. So, we almost had good news for you weird people who own a Google Home and subscribe to Apple Music. You were almost able to make it your music provider. But it was just a bug. LOL, JK, never mind. Seriously, folks, Google Play Music and a YouTube Red subscription is $10 a month. It's a steal. You don't need Apple Music and its 62.8% profit margin. Just saying. Motherboard reports that the best way to stop digital pirates is to offer products at sensible prices. What do you think about that, Owen?
Wow.
No kidding, right? Who'd have thunk it? The overall gist of the study is that while some folks who used to pirate content still do, most have turned to streaming services or free services like over-the-air antennas. Isn't that amazing, Owen?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And why is this happening? Because pirating is a pain in the butt, and because people don't mind paying for things when they're not being gouged. How about that, Owen?
Wow.
Wow. China published its version of the Forbes Rich People's List and found that there were 658 billionaires with a B in China, 584 in the US, and 2,470 overall in the world. And just to show you how ridiculous all this is, I'll quote from the AP article. Quote, according to this list, the company that created the most billionaires was Thailand's CP Group, a conglomerate with operations spanning agriculture, telecoms, retailing, and finance, which added 5 to its total of 17 as of the end of January. Next in line was Red Bull. And nothing makes sense anymore. I guess I'll just go buy some Red Bull. This podcast not sponsored by Red Bull. It gives you wings. Upcoming movie Pokemon Detective, featuring a very not Deadpool Ryan Reynolds, has a new trailer. It looks like a wait for Netflix kind of movie for me, but maybe I'll get it on Redbox. But if you're into Pokemon, and judging by the Pokemon Go crowd, a lot of you are, then this trailer will give you a lot of action and inside jokes that Pokemon fans will understand, but I'll just chuckle at. And finally, you can help name a moon! Woohoo! I'm all giddy about this one. Now, there are rules that you have to follow, one of which is that the name needs to come from Greek or Roman mythology, which blows all my Stargate names out of the water. But either way, I'm going to have to give this some serious thought. Regardless, I will say good on you, Carnegie, for opening this up to the public and putting rules in place so that we don't end up with a moon named Farty Pants or Moony McMoonface. So that is going to do it for today's Digit Daily. If you'd like to learn more about any of these stories, check out the links in the show notes and subscribe to our daily newsletter on Digit.com. And if you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast player. Once again, I'm Adam Dowd, Dead Technology on Twitter, and we'll talk again tomorrow.